Kyle Shanahan, I thought it was pretty. You get some of the crazy and weird answers, but you also get some of the good ones. And I love this question that Kyle Shanahan was told or was asked to retell his encounter with Jed York during their training camp last year when Brock Purdy was a rookie. And I love the answer that he got, because when you have a good franchise, when you are stable at the top, and we were talking about this like with the variable thing, you're stable from the top on down, and there is trust in what you're doing, you can get away with saying things like this and making the moves that the San Francisco 49ers made.
Professional sports and all sports.
When an owner comes in after training camp practices and is like, hey, how's the quarterback? And what he means is the starter or the second. And you in irritation go, I don't know, but our third guy's the best. Like, that's not what he wants to hear. So that's why he remembers it very strong. But that was just more, Brock was so good right away with every rep he got. He was always the same. And he only got a couple of them. So it was easy for me to say, because in his few reps, he was the best. But if you know that for a fact, I mean, then you do what you do right away. But he was the best, but you ease that on. And every time he got a little more reps, it was the same as when he got 2. And so when it was all said and done and he got a lot of playing time, it was like, oh, this looks exactly like what I told you when I was irritated. And he only had 3 reps. And I said, no, he's the best, but that's what was so real about Brock. That's why after his 7 games, his rookie year, even when he got hurt, we knew what we had, because he'd been that way in practice every day, and it was the exact same way in the games.
There were questions about Jimmy Garoppolo and whether he could be the guy to get you over the hump, but he got you to a Super Bowl before. You went and you traded up and you used the number 3 pick on Trey Lance, and you were waiting for him to turn the corner.
Oops.
Meanwhile, after just a couple of practices, Kyle Shanahan says in frustration, he went to the owner. When the owner came and said, how's the quarterback looking? It was the 6th round or the 7th round pick, the 262nd pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, that he said the 3rd one is the best one. And how long did it take before they finally just said, the keys are yours?
Because the investment is sunk into the top draft capital, and that's how it's going to work. Kyle
sounded like he may have been a little
sauce?
slurry there. Yeah, it's Vegas.
Look, but here's the thing, though.
Take the edge off.
Maybe go the Michael Bublé route.
The shrooms.
Yeah, just have a little tab.
That was not a microdose.
That was not a microdose. My buddy lied to me. But I love the fact that Shanahan went with it. And he was just like, no, but we are going to trust that we got.
You don't want to see necessarily that Trey is kind of quote unquote thrown under the bus, but that was the thing that we just kept saying from the jump was like, this guy just doesn't have it. Now, whether or not Brock was that much better, again, Jimmy G is average at best. Trey wasn't even that. So it's really not that hard to think that Brock Purdy was standing out amongst the crowd.
It is when you see what NFL franchises do year in and year out. Team after team every single year playing those guys that you're like, that's this and it. And it doesn't matter if you have the teams that do it and they pull the trigger on it and they say, I don't care if we paid Matt Flynn, the 3rd round pick out of Wisconsin is the guy that is better than him. We're going to play him. Those are the teams where if you see it and you trust it.
The talent is the talent is the talent is the talent, regardless of where it came from, when it was drafted, how much it's being paid. Look, there's certain times where you do have to acquiesce to the contract. But in times of importance, particularly at the quarterback position, you just have to go with what that says.
And you have to be stable with your standing in the franchise.
And not be afraid of what it's going to mean to you going forward, because you're going to stand by the decisions you made.
But this franchise has got to support you in it too. And that's with Jed York, that's with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. This is why all 3 of those pieces have got to be, they have to be operating in cohesion, or you turn into the Chicago Bears. What has been the biggest difference in the Detroit Lions? And I love that their GM, Brad Holmes, he went and he was taking names and pointing people out. He's like, you said we shouldn't have taken Penei Sewell. You said that we needed a wide receiver in the draft. Well, guess what? Penei Sewell's the best damn tackle in right tackle in football right now. And,
he came with a notebook
he
in
was
that press
taking
conference.
receipts. And you know what? That is the big difference, is that the Ford family finally said, we're going to get out of the way. We're going to let you football guys do your thing, and we will support you financially, finally, in a way that we haven't before. And you have Holmes.
They weren't intimidated by the big guy in the room.
And you're damn right. And Dan Campbell are the two guys that they are in lockstep. Mm-hmm. And that is when you can operate at a higher level than what you've seen before. It took, the Brown family in Cincinnati, it took Joe Burrow to finally prove it before they got out of the way. But look, when after Joe Burrow's rookie year, they finally started paying guys. They finally started bringing in free agents, and they got to the damn Super Bowl.
Weird how that works.
It's amazing
it's almost
how
like
it all works.
It's a straight line you can draw.
Yeah. In it's trust in the football guys to make the football decisions, even though and owners get like this. They get to the point where they don't want to look like their franchise made the wrong pick by going and drafting Trey Lance. Well, guess what? You did. But trust the football guy in Kyle Shanahan that Purdy's better. We got to roll with him, and they did.
It is, when you really think about what that means, to give up the capital they did and to see who those picks turned into. One of them was Micah Parsons. The Dolphins turned one of those first-round picks into Tyreek Hill, and I believe the other one into Jalen Waddle.
Seems good.
Like, you think about the way that capital was used, you're like, and you got Trey Lance out of that. That stings. And yet
they're playing on Sunday.
Think about how insane that is, that they missed that badly. Not only on that pick, but with the capital that went out, and they're still the team playing on Sunday. That's how insane they have been with every other decision. It's pretty damn impressive.